Hi everybody, today I'll be presenting two 20th century oil canvases that were displayed in the Los Angeles County Museum of Arts. The first canvas is called The Orator from Magnus Zeller, which is presented on the left, and the canvas on the right is called The Apocalyptic Landscape by Ludwig Medner. The reason why these two paintings were chosen, it's because the context of the painting is what stood out to me the most, as well with these two being the opposite of each other in colors. I was in the room that specifically deal with expressionist artists born in Germany, where both Magnus Zeller and Ludwig Medner were born in Germany 4 years apart. Artists expressed their emotion through painting, which was a modernist movement in the earliest 20th century. Even today, many artists express their emotions through many ways of art, as for an example, through music, vandalism, painting, and etc. Magnus Zeller and Ludwig Medner published their painting around World War I, where Ludwig was in the pre-war and Magnus was in the post-war, in which they both relate to the World War and politics. First, I will explain a little history about Magnus Zeller to understand his background. Magnus Zeller was born in Bessenau, Germany, 1888, and moved to Berlin in 1902 to start his journey on art. Zeller has lived through both world wars and documented both wars through his painting and drawings, in which he is well known from his art form of expressionism. Magnus Zeller was motivated to paint the documentation of his surroundings, and therefore the painting I will be discussing is called The Orator, which is an old base canvas that was painted in 1920. During my time in LACMA, I was able to see the canvas in person. I have the sensation that the people surrounding the orator are in distraught, which is shown on the left of him, or in need, shown on the right side. This painting represents religious dimension of modern politics, which incites ecstatic devotion in its followers. The orator is influencing the people, and you are able to tell due to the expression of the people's faces given in the canvas. As we can see, the orator is positioned to be focused of attention, and the surrounding people are throwing their arms at him, showing the linear path to the orator. As well with the lighting of the painting, where the orator position is in bright colors and the surrounding is in dark colors, which gives a symbol of light to guide others, or the light of hope. Magnus Zeller was part of the revolution in Germany at the end of World War I, which wanted a change in politics because the politician system was following the middle class. Therefore, this is a significant to Magnus because he saw the system failing and how a single person can provide the leadership that the government couldn't. Now I will explain a bit of backstory on Ludwig Medner. Ludwig Medner was born on April 18, 1884 in Bernstadt, Germany, which is now known as Poland. He is also known to be an expressionist artist who mostly does portraits and landscape. In 1905, Medner was 21 and went to Berlin with no money. He discovered Impressionism, and whenever he had a spare hour, he went to galleries around Berlin, which exhibited Cézanne and Van Gogh. And in the evening, he would draw and paint furiously. Medner was motivated by Cézanne and Van Gogh art styles, which were portraits and landscapes, and later in the future became Ludwig's styles of painting. The second canvas I will be presenting is called Apocalyptic Landscape, painted in 1913, a year before the First World War. At first, you will question what is happening and what does the painting seem like. If you think so much is happening in this canvas, then you are right. This painting has a linear perspective that gives off the impression of chaos in Berlin. Medner made this landscape painting a metaphor for the upcoming war, where he thought the uncanny premonition of the cataclysm the war would bring. This gives us an imagery of an apocalypse happening. This painting shows more dark colors than light, which can give off a hint of despair or danger. Ludwig Medner had a theme of industrialism, in which Medner was attracted to images of a modern or industrial society, but he also had a mental health issue which led to apocalyptic landscapes, When I first saw this image, I knew right away there was a sense of destruction happening in the background, and the figures of humans seeming to running away. The thing these canvases have in common are the artist's way of expressing their emotions into the painting. During these times, they express their emotion towards the politician or the rich. The people in the high class only cared for themselves when a disaster happens, or especially when a war is around. For Magnus Zeller, the politician felt to help the people after the war, and Ludwig thought the upper class were taking advantage and the middle class were at a disadvantage because of the lack of materials they had, which then made him dislike the society and made him express his emotion with his chaotic painting. Even in today's society, there are issues with the high class and middle class, and as well with politics. There are many ways that the people tend to express their emotion to counteract these situations. So during the early 20th centuries, most artists in Germany were into idealism and expressionism and portraits and landscapes. Thank you.